All right, welcome back to another episode of the Board Drill Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Kyle. With me is my co-host, Matt. And tonight's special guest, another return guest, Coach Chad Broadrick, who's the head football coach at Centennial High School in Tennessee, and recently the athletic director, as we've learned tonight. Coach, welcome to the Board Drill.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me back.
And it didn't trigger, Matt. There it is. Matt will loud clap for all of us. So, Coach, I know tonight we're going to talk a little Cover 7. We appreciate it. You know, if you don't know, Coach has got some impromptu meetings of becoming an athletic director. He offered to hop on with us for kind of the 2-hour break he has in between meetings. So, Coach, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much. While Coach is sharing the screen and we're going to talk a little Cover 7, this episode is brought to you by Sideline HQ.
Coaches, are you tired of the equipment room nightmare? Reclaim your time with Sideline HQ. Track your inventory, manage checkouts right from your phone, and hold your team accountable. Run your program, not your inventory. Get 30 days free at Sideline HQ.
All right, we're back. Broadrick, he's great. He's actually outside, and we're going to continue this clinic. So, Coach, this will be our first episode with someone outside, but I'm going to love the ambiance of the birds chirping. But go ahead and take us away on Cover 7.
All right, so when we play Cover 7, we play things to the strong side. Can you see my mouse or no?
No.
No, okay, it's fine. So here's our star. So for us, that's star right. All right, and we're going to play certain calls to the star side and then certain calls away. This year, this was a couple years ago, we had a really good kid at Money, the will linebacker. And so for this game, they're two best players. So when we install Cover 7, we want to find ways to double the two best guys in a lot of ways. And so we build tools in, and I'll try to go through most of them, that allow us to call calls that eventually gets us into ways to double the kids that we're worried about on a Friday night. And so we're going to play certain concepts to the star and then certain concepts weak, and build tools where we can double them. So here we're playing bracket. Everybody knows bracket. We're really playing bracket to both sides. And so our corners are normally going to be ink alignment, and they're usually going to be pressed. And then our Mac has all of the back. So he's going to align and attend to the back. He's going to have an A-gap on run. I'm not going to talk much about run, but for us, the apex defender would have the C-gap on run. So we're only going to do stuff that gives the apex defender, in this case, away from the back, the C-gap. In all the clips. Most of these will be pass, if not all of them. But if it was a normal down and distance, we're going to try to do things to give the C-gap to whoever that apex guy is. It could be a backer, it could be the money, and it could be a safety for us. And so all we're doing, and we play them as what I learned as hard cones or hard brackets. And so for us, what that means is like the safety is actually the aggressor in the play. So like on a dig or a slant, they're going to come out of the roof, and then the star or the money to the weak side is going to be the protector on like double moves and things like that. And so it's pretty simple. The star and the money are using the outside leverage for us. We're going to double 2. And the safeties are the aggressor on any in-breaking route. And so for us in this game, in particular, we felt like that our corners were better than their outside guys, but their slots were probably better than our star. And then our money's out there playing like a DB. For us, normally, not all the time, so I'm not going to say this is true all the time, but our star tends to not be as good as the other DBs because he gets the most help in the defense. And so all we're doing there is trying to double those guys. And so I had these in a different order, but that's fine. It must have already lost it, and it ain't going to work anyway.
So, Coach, while we're sitting here, just so everyone knows, your Mac and your money are basically, variations of your Mike and Will.
Yes. And so for us, and the only reason I don't call them Mike and Will, and I could, our money goes to 3x1, he goes strong, and 2x2, he goes weak, but it's the exact same thing. Our money's just going to be the guy that's out of the box and too high stuff, and the Mac is always in the box. And so I had them in a different order, but that's fine. All this, whatever's happening. So same idea here. So now we're playing a cone on him. Same thing as a bracket, same rules. The shallow, the safety for us would come out of the roof and take it. Any in-breaking route, he's the aggressor. The corner now is going to be outside leverage. So he's orc alignment, and he's not going to lose outside. So if we're playing a cone, the safety knows if 5 outside releases, he's going to go back and poach. One inside releases, he's going to own that guy for the down and be the aggressor on the in-breaking routes. Our max still has all the back here. And then so we play this weird. So like our money was really good this year. So what we're doing here is our money has all of the Y unless the Y is out. And then these two are still playing bracket, which is badge to us, but still playing bracket. And he's still playing bracket. And you see he's off now. And so for us, the reason we do this, if we think that this guy is good, this is practice, we're practicing stuff. But if this guy's really good and our money's better than the tight end, we want to double this guy. And so the only thing that would take us off of that is if 3 goes to the flat. Now the money wall carries on the slot, the star pushes off, it turns into like, Seahawk. And now the safety's still going to double 2. He's playing full on bracket to him. He's ignoring the Y, but the star is reading 3 as we're playing it. And so we want it to be tight coverage, and all these for us are like not third and super long calls. They're not really run down calls, but they're times when we're trying to play deny the ball defense. And then get double teams on people. I'm sorry the film ain't working good. You're not going to get many views on this one. If I could get it to work, we'd be all right.
Yeah, no worries. Talk a little bit about, just for the guys that are young coaches, when you said, the 2 phrases you use for inside and outside alignment for your corners, just talk about them real quick for those of us that don't know it.
Yeah, so ink just means we're going to be inside press, and orc means we're going to be outside press. And then normally that means somewhat for the down. In one high stuff, we play all divider leverage, and so that'll change pre and post snap. In this one, we're kind of trying to own that leverage through the down to a certain extent when we're playing it. And so I think we got the same thing here. So we got, for us, whatever we call it, but the same thing. So the money has all the Y, the Mac has all the back. We're going to double him, so you can see now he's pressed and he's orc. All right, safety's doubling 1 corner of the field. So normally for us, we'll play a lot press into the boundary, more off to the field. I think for fairly obvious reasons. These 2 kids are really good and really smart, so they kind of got to do what they wanted. And then our star, so they're truly going to play bracket right here as long as the slot is up. The only thing I don't like is for us, we want the safety right now to be coming out of the roof. So he should be driving that, and the star who's playing it correctly, like if we got a double move, the star becomes the protector on the double move. And then in the boundary, we're playing cone. And so we should probably be a little bit off the hash, a little bit here more. But you can see he's playing it correctly. He's trying to build a box on a guy, be 3x3. He breaks in, and he's cutting his face off. And so does a really good job there. But just to go over the rules more, I'm kind of going fast because it's all been jacked up here. But he's got all of 1. We're going to double the slot in this. The money has all the Y. The Mac has all the back. They're in a 22 funnel, though. So when the Y's off, so if like the Y swiped, for us, we'd say back, back, back. Now the Mac would take the Y, and now the money would be on the back. So they're always in a 22 anytime the Y is off in most of this stuff. And then the only thing that would change that is if the Y was to the flat, the star's coming off for that. The money is now wall carry on the slot, and the safety's still going to play number 2.
Which
and we're doing that when we think. Go ahead.
Sorry, Coach. I was going to say that feels really familiar to just basic push rolls, right?
Yeah, and we're doing that when we think the slot's the better player. Like if we think the tight end's the better player, we ain't playing this call. We'll go over that in a second. But if we think our money's better than the tight end and the slot's better than our star, we want to double that guy. And so all the way that we've built it out is how can we double really 2 people in most of the calls, and who are they? And so we've got names for them to get the kids into the right thing. 7-on-7 is tough because you really don't know, but in a game week, and some of these big game pictures, we kind of know who we want to double. And so now back to this sort of the same thing. So we're playing bracket over here, right? So all of 1, double the slot. Mac is on the back. Money's on the Y, and we're going to play cone still on the X. So again, if we think the money's better than the tight end and the X is the dude, now I don't know why he's aligned like this. That's irritating. He's not supposed to be there. He should be right here. He's playing cone. That's all the corner and the weak safety you're playing. And I mean cone is we're going to double him just like it was bracket. So 1 here and 1 there, and the money's got all the Y. The only thing we don't do, I'll talk about this in a little bit. Anytime we get like gun near out of this kind of stuff, we make a swing alert call. And so we won't do it in this call, but just to explain it. So swing alert would mean, right, if the back was out, then we're going to push these two. We don't do it in this call because I don't like the leverage the Mac would have on the tight end at all. So we don't swing alert that one. So no matter what the back does here, the Mac still has all the back, but there's other ones where we'd swing alert that. But you can see the money's taking the Y, the money being the guy that's on the hash right here. We're getting a good double on the slot. And then on the backside, we're getting a terrible cone because the corner, who's a really smart kid, I don't know what he's doing. But that's what we're playing. And so, again, we're building them out, right? If the X and the slot are the dudes, you want to be in something like this. If the tight end's the dude, we'll be in something else, and we'll get to that in a second. And same thing, if the X or if the Z to the field was a guy, we'd be in something else.
No, I love it, Coach. Just the straight idea of understanding how to build brackets on their best player. I think this is a really good example for guys out there that are wondering.
Yeah, and if I wasn't freaking out about all this not working, I would have talked about, like, we play – we're playing cones and brackets and triangle concept and box concepts. That's like what we're doing out of cover 7, right? Yeah. All the stuff is going to fall in to those categories. And so this is an example of we think that this guy might be good. And this is the 7-on-7, so I don't know if we actually knew, if we're just practicing stuff. I have no idea. I don't remember. It was a few years ago now, maybe 2. And so right here what we're doing, he's still got all of the Z, right? We're playing Seahawk, which is basically stubby or mini to people, except for he's going to play wall carry. Sorry, y'all can't see that. The money is going to play wall carry on the Y right here. So if the Y is vertical, we're going to get sort of a double team. So the safety for us in this call is reading 3-2, but he's going to midpoint 3-2. And the star is still playing like he did in the clip before where he was playing bracket but reading 3. On the backside, we're playing what everybody knows is Connie. We don't call it that, but Connie means this. And I should have put the diagrams if I wasn't too busy. Sorry. So Connie means this. If this dude comes hauling ass out of here vertical, then we're going to play cone. What we talked about earlier with the corner outside, the safety double the X, inside and be the aggressor. If this dude comes out of here on a shallow, then now the Mac, we're going to make an in call. The Mac is going to take that. The corner's going to zone off. The safety's going to zone off. And they're going to play off the back and play really the safety's going to play the deeper of the two, the receiver or the back, and then the corner's going to have the back. So they're just going to switch it. So I don't know. I don't remember what's going to happen in this one. So he goes vertical, so we're going to play it out as a true cone, right? So now the corner, and I don't even mind his leverage. We'd love him to be a little bit tighter, but he has an understanding of what he was supposed to do, and we get the double team. It breaks back out to him, right? So we get that doubled. The issue with cover 7, just so everybody knows, in a game it's pretty good. In 7-on-7, I actually think it's not very good. Because you get all these isolation routes, which would happen in a game too. It's just a little bit easier to kind of affect the quarterback in a game where your Mac gets on the back and he's got to have him pretty much everywhere. We don't want to lose inside in these, like the last one I did on here. Our leverage was divider leverage, and most of the time we're not wanting to lose inside. On this one, we're not wanting to lose outside in those. On this one, we're not wanting to lose to the inside. And so that'll happen in this kind of stuff. But over here, we're loading again.
No, you're good, Coach. Real quick while it's loading. Connie, I know when I used to call it, are you calling Connie for a specific reason, kind of that tight split in the running back to you? We did it because the rail route is why we called it.
Yeah, sorry.
Is there a particular reason why you guys are calling it, or
100%.
is it just kind of what you do?
What I'm trying to, like, we're installing it here right now, and we don't quite know it yet. I just got here. We're getting it, but long way to go. So, like, if the X is out here and the back runs a rail, I know people get scared about that. We normally don't give any of that up. Like we have, the last clinic, our ends and jacks are taking all that stuff the whole game, and that doesn't bother me. Like, there's a normal split. We're not going to get picked. So right now what we're thinking is, if they have an idea of the stuff we do, right, he picks him and he goes and the corner stays on the X, and now the Mac gets picked. The safety's doubling the X, and now, the back's scoring a touchdown because of the call, right? Not the kid's fault. That'd be 100% on me as the coach. And so when we get the X short and the running back to him, that's when we're going to check the Connie out of this family of calls for us to make sure we don't get picked out of that. So the corner would now, if right, we did get this, like, that's the route we're worried about. The corner's going to bail. He's in, he says in, and now he's going to take the back. The Mac is going to take the shallow, and the safety's always going to work to double the deeper of the two.
Yep.
And so we kind of get what we want out of that, if that's what we're getting. Right here, he runs vertical, so we're all good. But this is a really good picture up here to the strong side of playing what most people call Seahawk or Steeler. Money's going to wall carry on 3. Safety's going to double 3 to 2 and midpoint him. Well, there's only 1 to double. And so he's going to take that. The star has really terrible leverage at the end. But we get the guy doubled running vertical. That's kind of the goal, right? We want to double the vertical routes, double the good players. And so it's a really good tool to do that. I do think it's a lot better in games than 7-on-7. 7-on-7 tend you get the ones that are 1-on-1 tend to get picked on quite a bit. Same concept here, except for I think we just played it out as cone. It's hard to tell in 7-on-7 if he's tight or not with no line. But I think they just played it out as cone to this side. So same concept to both sides in some ways. And so now you can see the safety's trying to midpoint 3 and 2. He's doing a good job of that. And then we're going to carry outside with the star and inside with the money on the guys that they're on, if that makes any sense, without me pointing to them.
Makes perfect sense.
And so, again, you can see the Mac is the guy getting picked on. And, like, I love 7-on-7, actually, so I'm not, he's got bad eyes. I really can't see very good out here. Normally I talk about their eyes. Normally our eyes were pretty good here. But right there he's looking, it looks to me like I got a glare.
Yeah, he's looking back at the quarterback.
He's looking back at the quarterback, right? We don't want that. But I usually don't get too pissed off at the kids when they're getting isolation routes and I've got them manned up in their inside leverage. And he's got no help on a back that's probably a little bit better than him in this case. And so
that's the old
there.
Matt special in 7-on-7. Matt loves that one.
Hey, everybody does it. Our offense does it, so I can't get mad. All right, let's see. All right, now we're back to I had them in order, sorry. So now we're back to like the first clip. I think our star is right here. I can't see good. And then this is our money, but we're back to this world of we're getting a double on the slots at a 2x2 in the Mac. So we'll talk about this. Like we don't swing alert when we're in bracket. So I think this is the back right here. And so if the back's out, the Mac takes him through. In other calls, I probably should. We didn't get them maybe I'll get them in a second. We would swing alert those. Don't love the money out here. Want him to work to get on his outside hip and fight a little harder. But everything else, at least from what I can tell, is pretty good. We're doing a good job at star cutting off his face. I didn't say this earlier. Our safeties, if we look at this one, we're doubling 2 to 1, right? And so as soon as 2 is short, he's going to work to build a box on number 1. And so does a good job of taking that and has really good eyes. Want to be a little bit under it right there. But overall, pretty good job in terms of playing the call out correctly. Let's see, same concept here. So really bracket to both sides. And we're going to get a double on the slots. And, I can't hardly see my computer, to be honest. So I can't tell what the down and distance was or why we called it or anything like that if we're just practicing it to be really honest, but pretty good job. I don't love the safety, the one that they throw the ball to. He wants to be the aggressor. So the other safety is more right in terms of when he gets the in-breaking route. We're trying to go cut his face off, essentially. We don't want that ball to be completed with the other guy with outside leverage. So that's why we have him as the aggressor. He can play it both ways, but we play with him as the aggressor. So same thing here. Mac's going to have all the back. We're going to double those in terms of the slots, and the corners are singled up here. And we could have played these as a triangle concept. I don't think I put any of that in here, but I can pull that up if I can ever get the computer to work if y'all want me to.
Now, Coach, when you talk about the safety being the aggressor on the dig route, right, you kind of got that Mills concept there. We mean like he's completely trying to cut it off and pick it, right, and house it, basically, if he gets that dig and break when he's in bracket.
Yeah, he's allowed to go right now. I always say cut his face off, but yeah, we're trying to get in front of the route. We want to pick it or break it up. And if there's any type of a double move, it's on the low guy for us to play the double move, and the high guy in these plays the first break inside. You can do it the opposite. I just like it this way better. I think it's really hard when you're outside leverage to tell the other guy to play the dig. And so it kind of plays out in some ways like some of the other stuff that we do in terms of they're expecting to have help on the in-breaking routes when they do that. All right, so we're playing a little bit different here. So this is kind of what I was looking for. So we're still going to play the same thing over here. We're playing bracket to the star. But here we're playing, we're essentially playing like 2 read in a way. So for us, the money has all the Y unless he's out in the first 5. Corner has all the Z unless the Y is out in the first 5. And the safety's going 2 to 1, but really more like midpointing because it's almost the same concept as Seahawk that we watched earlier.
Yeah.
And so right here, nobody's out, so they're going to stay on their guy. And the Mac has all the back. This is one, though, if the back was over here, we would swing alert that with those two in that call. All right, sergeant and outlaw. So same concept. I really can't see my screen now. Getting pollen on it or something. But this was
All
a
I
good
know is
clip.
it's a tremendous field of whoever you're playing at. This is a beautiful field.
Yeah, good field. Not real happy with them right now, but that's all right. It's okay. So to the field, we're playing the same concept as earlier with Seahawk. So money's walk here in the Y, safety midpoint, star, basically read 3. You got 2 unless 3 is out or 2 is shallow. And over here, we're playing, this is when you want to run it. So I remember this play. It was 4th. I know it's 7-on-7, but it was 4th and whatever that is 4. And was deciding between playing like 1 funnel or play 7. And we played 7. And the safety does such a good job right here. The corner's not great. Corner's a really good player, but don't love the corner, but he knows he don't want to get beat outside. But the safety does a good job. This is what we're talking about, is go cut his face off. We don't want that ball completed, and does a good job of getting it broken up.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, you can be rough on the corner there, but I tell you what, he knew not to lose outside. So you got to give him a little bit of credit.
He did. And this is the kind of stuff, I don't know, I'm weird. So like when I watched the star was such a good kid, not the most athletic kid here. But he just trusts his leverage, right? And that's what we want it to look like on the corner right now, for us anyway. So he knows he's trying to get low hip and outside. The Mac is taking the back through. We're in bracket right here. And then now we're playing like mod to the boundary. And so the corner's got smash rules on. The money's the flat player, and the safety's truly going 2-to-1 right here. Just a different tool, right, that we want to play. And so they're just taking them there. Safety, his guy goes out. He's running to 1. He gets an outside release late, but he stays on it. And then the corner to the field is still playing bracket, so he's got all of 1. But the Mac taking all the way through. So anytime, and I'll keep saying this would also be, if the back was to the other side, the Mac for us would be over here, and this would be a swing alert out of those two. And if the back were to push, right, the money's going to push through and take it. And now the Mac would become, whatever, the reroute guy on the Y, if he was vertical, if he can get there. But we
Coach,
not
back to your star. Oh, sorry. Back to your star here. I know you play Ripliz. I know you play, kind of you cover 1 stuff. So for me, right, this kind of teach session is he's basically playing that same style technique, right? He's low and outside here. Is that
100%? He does that for us, a million times a day, to be honest. And so I just always get proud of when they do stuff right. Because sometimes I've noticed when you first start teaching this somewhere new, man, kids want to play inside leverage so bad.
It's scary playing low and outside. It is.
Yeah, it is. And so once they realize, and it kind of depends too, like right now where I'm at, we're doing a good job, but our post safeties aren't doing a good job. So sometimes they're getting like punished for doing a good job, but it's not. And then the ball's getting completed, in 7-on-7 where it shouldn't. And so just trying to get them to trust their teammates, and eventually we're going to be good at it. You're going to get enough reps at it. You'll kind of get it. The other thing, I didn't put some of this in here. We've got them all on film, but so like we play this concept, if the H has a tight split and the back was to it, we would make a call. It still starts with a B and it's a triangle term, right? And now we are going to, now we do swing alert it basically. So now let's say that the back was out and the slot was up or he was in, right? So what we're worried about, the Mac getting picked because the H is close. Now the star would push through, the Mac would wall carry on that or take it if he was to him. And then the safety's going to double the deeper of the 2. And so, like, I think with anything, it's got a ton of weaknesses, but if you build it out, it's got a ton of strengths. And then, so for us in 7-on-7 in practice, we have rules of when they should call it. But then in the game week, we kind of tell them, hey, this is the dude, so we're going to play this. This is the stack rules this week. This is the bunch rules because of whatever they do. And we, sometimes it's probably too much. But in a given week, you kind of trim it down and kind of take away what they do well, if that makes sense, or what the issues are. And so it's really good, and I've loved it in games. 7-on-7, we do it to practice it. I really don't. I'll be honest, I hadn't had just a ton of success out of cover 7 in 7-on-7. But in the games, we've had a lot more.
Yeah, and I think the flexibility of it, just like you said, Coach, we used to just call Matt, right, out of cover 7. We'd say match, literally, and strike a match on our hand. That was a signal. And our kids knew based off where their dude was what kind of cover 7 we were calling, right? What kind of quarters we're calling, basically.
Yep.
And I did like the flexibility of that, because now our kids were, hey, you locate the guy, you make the coverage. We're not trying to call it super late. Everyone's looking at the sideline panicked. I'm like, hey, match, let's go.
Yep. And so it's been good in games. And this is the same. I'm going to try to skip some of these to get to some stuff. So this is kind of the same. This is a little bit different. So for us now, we're playing stump to the field. So the corner, I can't even see him anymore. I'm going to wipe my screen off maybe.
He's off at like 5.
Yeah. So he shouldn't be at 5, but that's all right. And so we're playing. He's backing up now, isn't he?
There. Yeah.
Okay, there we
he's
go.
at 8. Yeah.
So we're playing smash rules now. And now the star for us, it's a little bit different, but kind of the same. A lot of times, like playbook wise, we play this call when the tight end's on the ball. And play the other one when he's flexed out and the other one when he's off the ball. And then, like we said, in game weeks, we just game plan it. And so here they're just playing the playbook rules out for us. But now the star is going to be the flat player unless 1, 2, and 3 are all vertical. And so that's the difference. And I know that always sounds weird to people that aren't familiar with this. And so how he knows 1 is vertical is the corner is telling him smash or not. If he doesn't hear smash, he's assuming, right, that 1 went vertical. And so if 2 and 3 were vertical, he's going to carry 2. If 2 is short, like he is here, I think, he knows he's going to say under for us. He's pointing to it, and he's going to become the flat player. And so he's doing a good job there. And then I love his eyes. Like, again, the kid, I mean, I had him in history class there. I was a history teacher there. He made a good grade in my class. I wasn't the hardest teacher probably. But I just love what he's trying to do. Like, we're in a man match concept, and he's hunting up 1 right there. We're saying under, right? When we get the under call for us right now, the MAC is going to take the back out weak if he goes. I think he does. The money's coming off, taking the shallow through. The safety's chasing that, right? And just a good job out of the kids. And then for this week, we were playing poach. And so on the backside now, the weak safety is playing poach on the tight end here as well. And so we should get that doubled with both the safeties here for the concept we're getting. And anytime we're in a poach concept, now the corner is ink, and he's got all of 1. And so just building different tools to kind of, I don't know if this was a practice week or this was good on good. I can't even see the screen to tell you who's in on offense. But the kids doing a good job of kind of being where they're supposed to be and playing their leverages out correctly. I'm going to skip this one. It's the same. I've already done that. I want to get to some other things if we got time. Yeah. I like this clip. So we're back to kind of, we've already talked about this one, but we're playing bracket there. And then we felt like our money was better than this guy. And so we're still doubling the X here. So they're playing a cone concept. On the X. But I liked it because this team did a good job against us. We played a bunch of cover 7 this night. And on third downs, they were running the ball and we were in pass stunts. So our safety, and this is kind of what I was talking about. This isn't a run, but we're giving the C gap to the safety here because he's the apex guy away from the back. And so what I liked about it is he knows that. You can see his footwork. He's clearing the run. And then we get back and get a good double. The corner does a good job, and we get the double the right way on the X there. And if they complete that ball, we're going to pat them on the ass and tell them good job at the end of the day on that.
Tremendous play there.
And so this is back to playing what most people call stump. I think our corner's pressed. I hope he's going to bail. He doesn't. We're playing smash rules there. We're still playing a cone concept on the X right there to the boundary. Okay, and this is kind of how what you were saying, match. We have I haven't talked about what we call them yet, but we have ways to tell the kids, right? So the S words mean play 7 all over, and then like the other words, we're going to play now what people call cut or buster, depending on what it is to that side. And I can't see my screen at all, so I'm going to do the best I can do. So for us right here, now we're going to play cut to the star side. And so I'll explain cut, and then we're going to play cover 7 rules to the weak side. I can't see if it's playing.
It's got a little bit of thing, so.
Okay.
Now, Coach, while it's loading here, when you play it to the trips, right, a lot of people are so used to the Fangio, right, the trick stuff, but clip or cut to trips is a little different. Why don't you talk through the rules here while it's just trying to load?
Yeah. All right, now I can see my screen a little better. I'm going to have to do it all weird. All right. So for us right now, the star Can't even get it to draw. Yep. Apparently it
It's all
doesn't
right.
draw.
I can see your thing now. Yep.
Okay. The star has 2 inside leverage, and we want to put, I don't know how to say it. We tell them to put, I'll say it nicely, their pecker in his hip, and they got him all over the field unless he's out in the first 5. And so we're playing cut there. Over here, we're still playing cone. And then the corner, we want to play like trail man essentially on 1 with our eyes inside, but we're trapping the flat right now. If anybody goes to the flat, out of those 2. And then the weird part for the kids is always, the hardest one is like if 3 goes to the flat, right? The corner's trapping the flat. And then the money is going to run all the way to the Z. And so I always tell them, if he's running a vertical, all right, our safety right here is going to play what we call a trap half. So he's going to get over 1 first. And if 1 is vertical, he's going to stay over 1. If 1 is not vertical, he's going to zone up and play like a true half. And so if the outside dude runs a vertical, the money's never going to make it. We know that. That's all good. But if the outside dude runs a dig, we want the ball to hit him in the back of the helmet.
Yep.
And so none of these aren't an outbreaking route. So they're going to play it. It's going to look like 2-man, right? I don't love the corner. We want him to be a little bit lower. I think he sees it. We want him to be under that route, not over that route. We don't want to give up a comeback and cut. It's one thing we don't want to happen. But everything else was fine there. And then the Mac still has all of the back, right, to the cone side here because we're not in Connie because of the split of the X. You can see my screen a lot better now. And so now we're in the same world, different call to tell. So the N word tells them up here to play cut to the star, to the nickel. And so now they're playing cut. So we're playing cut on him. He's playing the trap flat. He's playing get over 1 and then zone off. And then, I'm sorry, the money's still cutting the Y. So it's more clip world. We might even be in Buster here, to be honest. I'm just not playing Buster this year. So I changed all the stuff in here. And then we're in cone. So I'll see what we're actually in. And so either way, they both play out the same. And so this is what again, it's the same kid who I said wasn't very good at star. Like, look at his eyes and his head. So, 2 is out. So the corner's going to trap the flat. Of course, it's not going to work now. Corner's going to trap the flat. And then the star is going to let the ball hit him in the back of the head. And so I always talk to the kids about when we're in man defense, we want incompletions. So we don't, we love interceptions, but we want incompletions. We want tight throws, tight windows. When we're playing zone stuff like Tampa or whatever, then we want the ball to be thrown in front of us, 2-on-1 tackle it, or we want interceptions. We know the ball is going to get completed. We just want it to be in front of us. So I don't know. It's always nice when the kids have an understanding of all that kind of stuff and just kind of trust it. And so I just love the star's eyes there and not panicking and not looking back at the ball too early. Just let the ball hit you in the back of the helmet, make them make a tough throw. So we're probably actually in Buster here. I got cut. But it's going to play out the same. So nobody runs out. And so the corners knows he's got to take the final 5, in this case, the final 1 back. And so he does that, and everybody else's man is vertical. So they're going to stay on him like it was 2-man in terms of the money and the star to the defensive right here. And then to the boundary, we're still playing cone because we're going to play. So we're playing like half, quarter, right? So we're playing half, quarter in terms of the concept of this call anyway. Let me try to find one where
I think
3's off.
that's one of the hardest things for a corner to do on that is kind of take that 1 back in.
And I'm really surprised he did it because that kid was a good kid, but he mainly only played offense there. And so I'm actually shocked he did that. But we had smart kids that were pretty coachable. And so now we're in a different world, right? And so it's the A word up here to the top. I don't care if anybody knows it. They got to know the signal. And so in the A word, now we're going to play 7 rules to the star, and we're going to play cut rules away from the star. And so again, we do that like if we think the outside guy's a dude, this is 7-on-7. So to be completely honest, I'm probably just practicing calls. But you can see they're taking off hauling ass here. So the money is going to take all the Y vertical. The safety's going to play a trap half, get over 1 short, zone up. We're going to get our eyes back to the quarterback. There's 1 vertical there. And then to the field, or to the defensive left, we're playing bracket, and then we get a good double team. I know the coverage ain't the tightest, but that's still going to be a tough throw to make in terms of what they're trying to do. And then the poor guy that's, going to get isolated is the Mac and all this stuff. And so, again, not mad at him at all in this. They get however many yards, but that's a pretty tough play to make at linebacker in 7-on-7.
Yeah, I think the scariest thing about playing cut to two removed is the the money carrying two vertical like that. And I
Yeah,
think
and so
that's the
I'll be
biggest
honest,
fear for
like,
coaches.
yeah, this year I don't know how much we'll be able to do that where I'm at. I think he's a good player. I just think he's more of a true. This kid was like could have played safety,
Yeah.
and was big enough to play money for us, and was extremely intelligent and athletic, and so it kind of opened up a lot of stuff we could do. Um, to be completely honest, I'm not sure we can get away with it as much this year. I wish I was going to get somebody running to the flat here over there, but we're not. But either way, the money's going to carry it. We do want to be closer to him, but at the end, he does a good job of getting where he needs to be. And again, the vertical is what we're looking for, right? The verticals are doubled, and then the underneath stuff is singled up, and so that's all good in our world.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what we call more in a game. And so I'm not going to go over all the coverage is the same. And so, but this is more of the stuff like we went over last time. But now in a game week, right, you're going to be able to keep the back end more. You're going to be able to get pressure on the quarterback. And so what we're doing here is these guys are cop players. They're going B to C, right? He's going to balance the rush off of the Mac. The Mac's going to VTech the center. And now the Jack is going to trace the back or peel him based on what he does. And then we're going to play cover 7 rules everywhere else. Just the Jack here for us has the back. And so this is the stuff I like to do more in a game that we don't really get in a 7-on-7. And so for this week, this goes back to earlier. We said, this is the first clip I think we watched, that these guys were the ones we were scared of, and we weren't scared of these guys. And so the cool part about cover 7 is now we're building the pressure out of it, right? A sim or a creeper. And then for this week, we told the kids, right, when we call Mohawk, okay, we're going to play poach. So you're going to have all of him. You're going to poach to number 3. Right? We're going to play Seahawk rules over here. So I'm going to midpoint 2 and 3. We're going to wall carry, and we're going to read 3. So we're going to get the 2 guys doubled again that we want to get doubled, essentially. And so right here, 2 shallow. So the star saying under, right? The money is going to go take the shallow through the deep route, who was a really good player, is going to get doubled by the 2 safeties. And we end up in a pretty good world where the quarterback's got to throw the ball away, and we get him off the spot with the pressure. And so that's more like this is more when I really like the stuff like this. It becomes a lot more fun, and the kids
Great
start believing
job
in it.
by the money here too. It's so
Yep.
hard to come off that look and then chase the under like he's supposed to. He does a great job there.
Yep. And so I can't see again good, but we're in the same thing, right? It's the same team. We're in the same concept, playing basically double bracket essentially, but we're running the same pressure. And so again, we actually want the Mac. They got blitzing to fit inside the back. He normally does that, but he fits outside the back here. And then we don't get the best cop. We're actually really good at all this stuff. So the guy to the boundary, right? He's getting doubled. So he can go B to C, right? And he can cop through I think he thought right here he could make it.
Yeah.
And so we always tell him if he gives you his butt, right, the tackle, you can go set the pocket that way, contain that way. But as soon as he turns back into you, got to kind of play the piano, take the long way, and get him pulled up. But he doesn't do that. But we're tracing the back there. We keep the back in the down, right? It's not 7-on-7 anymore. And then the guy to the field's going to balance the rush off the blitz of the Mac. And then again, I didn't even watch the coverage. We're probably getting the deep routes doubled. Both the guys are worried about running a wheel and an out. And but either way, we're in the coverage we want to be in. We get the pressure. We get a hit on the quarterback. We get the ball out. And not a great throw out of a kid that was a good quarterback, in my opinion. And so same thing. And so back to the same world, right? We thought he was better than him, and we thought he was better than him, and we were worried about these 2 guys. So we're going to poach to 3, and we're going to play Seahawk over here where he's going to midpoint. He's going to read 3 to 2, and then the money's going to wall carry on number 3. He's going to trace the back. He's going to balance the rush. We're going B to cop here. And then he's going to VTech the center and build a pressure out of it, or a creeper. And so it's a screen. But, man, the cool thing about some of this is we get screened a lot, but they're not thinking about blocking the guy they think is rushing,
Yeah.
And so he's tracing the back, and, maybe they're supposed to block him, maybe they weren't based on their rules, but he's the guy that's just going to go take the back on the line of scrimmage. I'm just going to skip that one. All right, and then you can build 5-man pressures out of them, right? And so in these calls for us, so it's still an M word just like the one before. So we're going to VTech the center, but then we're going to play cover 7 rules to the strong side, and we're going to play blitz man, off man to us generally. to the weak side. And so for this, we're going to VTech the center. It's a 5-man pressure now. So we love these verse run and verse pass, unless we think the dude over here, right, is just a stud into the boundary. Don't love it as much then. But runs and all that are good. I can't see my screen hardly, but right now, these two guys right here, I'm sorry, not these two. So the Mac, I can't even tell. I think the Mac is the blitzer, yep. And then, sorry, these two guys are in a 22 funnel on the Y and the R. And so right now, I think the Y goes back, so we're saying back. So the money's going to take the A gap. The safety here is going to work back to the C gap. And you just build a normal, you're building mint or tight from 4 down, right? That's all we're trying to do there. This is man, as smart as we were here, they used to piss me off with this. So here's another weakness of it, right? So we're playing blitz man here. The safety is playing blitz man on the Y to the weak side, and then we're playing bracket over here, right? So the Mac is going to blitz. We're going to bring it from the money's going to blitz. We're going to bring it weak. And so we always tell him it's really like the money right now should be the 41. He should VTech at that angle, right? And I won't talk about the VTechs. I did that last time in terms of how to do it or how we do it anyway. But we want the Mac, so we should have the money here, and the Mac should be where the money is because we want to align to our coverage. He's an A-gap fitter based on what the Y does. And so, but he's worried about being to the strong side, and this is the scary stuff, right? He's got a long way to go because of his alignment. I can't even tell if we break it up or not, but either way, it should be a touchdown. Just because our alignment's poor, his eyes go back to the quarterback. So we should be 41-10, and the 10 should be to the side of the back there. So we don't quite get that right.
He does break it up.
Yeah, well, he's one of my favorite kids I've coached, but I was pretty hard on him when he did stuff like that. Here's a good example of the 22 funnel, right, with the safety. So back. Okay, it's not a good job by the money. That's the Mac. He's a good player right now. He's a sophomore there. But there's the VTech. The safety's going to come play the A gap. The good news is they ain't really talking about getting to him. And we're playing cover 7 weak and blitz coverage. Cover 7 strong and blitz weak. All right, I'm going to get to another one. And then we build this one a lot of ways. I only got one on here, but now we're just going to bring it B gap. And so right here we run torch with it, it looks like, on top of it. And so bringing the pressure weak, I can't get it to work. But still playing the same rules, just a B gap pressure, still building tight or mint at a 4 down, still a 5-man pressure. And then we ran this one a lot, just bring the corner now, the safety pushes. Come on.
This is God's pressure
guy,
right
the
here.
money's got all the Y. Yep, there we go. And so the cool thing about this team was, man, it's not going to work. I don't know if I can rewind. I'll just have to let it play. But to the slot side, the kid in the slot here was a really good player. And so we like these calls this week. We're going to bring the corner, and we're going to play what we call sheriff, but where the money has all the Y because he's a lot better athlete than 44. And we're going to get that number 0 kid doubled out of it, and bring the corner. And we felt pretty good about that most of the night. We ran a ton this night because of that. And so same thing here, right? I don't know if I can really rewind anymore for whatever reason. But the dude is in the slot. So we're going to double that guy, let the money have all the Y, and then try to bring pressure. We ended up getting pretty good at bringing the corner. I don't love him here. I don't want him to show it that early. Normally he doesn't do that. But the safety does a great job on the play there. I think it was the safety. And then so if we get anything like this, we're still in the corner pressure, but if we feel like the receiver's too wide, they went ahead and sent it to the safety. But the same call, we just traded it. And we're still getting the guy that's really good doubled there. I don't love what the star did there, but he ends up making a great play. His leverage is right. We just want him to be lower on the route when that happens. And so it's all the same. So this is where, having smart kids is fun. So we told them, if I can get this to go, right? Well, now the kid that's normally in the slot, they put him out here wide, right? He's the Z. And so now they're going to play cut rules to him. So we're going to have somebody under him, somebody over him, and still bring the corner out of the same world, run the same pressure. And so I think it works out pretty good here. I can't remember. But kind of the benefits of playing cover 7, right? You can game plan it. Where's the good guy at? Get him doubled. They run a screen. But the concept was, right, if that dude's going to run vertical, we want a guy under and a guy over him and not be in, a world of hurt with our corner being manned up on the best player. and you guys tell me how much time I got, and I'll stop whenever. I'm kind of building off of.
Much time as you want, Coach.
Okay. So, and then like in the red area, so like cut to us is 2-man with trap rules, right? And then so whatever, right? This call, people call it a lot of things, or really 2 things. It's kind of like playing red 2-man, right? And so the star now, we call it bite. He's going to bite out and take 1. I can't tell who the people are, but I think that's our strong safety. Our money, sorry, is this our Mac? I can't even, oh, there's this tight end there, good. All right. Money's got the Y, right? Mac has the back. Weak safety has the X. And then the corners, we call them waterfall players. So they're going to protect, like on the fade. And we changed how we play this now, actually. So now on the outside release for us, the corner would take, you're going to talk about the corner. On any outside release, the corner would end up the guy playing man, and then the safety would be essentially the flat player or the waterfall guy. Any inside release, which is how we're playing it here in terms of how we're coaching it at this time, you can see they're playing, and I love his eyes, whoever the star is here. Got his eyes on his man, got inside leverage, knows he's not allowed to lose inside. He can lose outside because the corner is going to be there to play the flat. But doing a really good job of that. So we're all just kind of biting out a guy and playing 2-man. But a really good concept in the red area. That's usually pretty good. Again, the issue is always, right, who's getting singled up, and they're running, these routes where they're allowed to go in and out, and he gets beat, and that's all good. We ain't mad at him in 7-on-7 for any of that, or even in a game for that matter, if they have enough time. So same concept here, right, to the weak side. I can't get it to rewind again. It's just going to go to the next one. We'll just have to, it did go. And so you can see them, you generally end up pretty good on all this kind of stuff. There's the corner playing the waterfall. Right now, we would play that differently. So for us today, the corner to the deep, the offensive left, would take the fade, and then the star would become where the corner's at. But everything else would be the same. And so, really good coverage in the red area. Play the guy outside of you, inside leverage, low hit man-to-man, corners waterfall, protect the goal line. High-low routes can be hard, but generally it's pretty good. Then if we get a bunch, we lock the star generally on the point, and now the strong safety would take the outside, and the money takes the inside. And so again, right, I am kind of mad at the money here. He's a really smart, really good player. We want to go get on him, get to his hip as quick as we can. I think the very next clip he does a better job of it. So right here he realized it, and he goes and gets to him, gets the pass broken up. I think these are kind of in order of how the 7-on-7 went that day. But really good coverage. And then the cool thing about this, kind of, let's skip some of them, unless you want me to explain that more.
No, you're good.
You kind of build the same thing off of it in terms of like the cover 7 stuff. And so now we're going to bring pressures with them. And so they're in 12 personnel. And so we, this is actually for us, this was our corner. This was our corner. And so we're in a different personnel group. This is our strong safety. This is our Sam, who's on the tight end. But then we're going to play blitz man weak now. And so for us right now, the money, he's blitzing. Sorry, the money right here has the F, and then the safety has the back. So we don't love his alignment, but they knew what they were getting right here to an extent. But we're still going to play the same concept out wide. And so you can see they do a really good job of he's going to get to his coverage right now. And then in terms of the run game now, right, the issue with Clifford or Turkey or whatever is the box ain't real good, and you're having to do a lot of stuff to try to fix the run game. With this one, to the strong side, you love the coverage. And then now you're building mint or tight with the pressure. And so, again, and people that are from Tennessee knows this team's a really good team and got one of the best head coaches that's an offensive guy in the state. If we put a 0 nose on top of this center, I assure you he would have blocked him every time. And so just running the VTech on the center, they essentially don't block who becomes the 0 nose, and we get a TFL off of it and play good coverage strong. And then to the weak side, there's not really concern of the coverage in this because there's no X out there, obviously. And so those calls have been good to us. So same concept. I think this was practicing for the same team of what we thought we were. So this was the routes we were getting in the red areas, kind of so you know why we're playing them, like 1 on a slant, right? 2's going to run the out. And so you feel good about the corner playing the out. They're trying to pick us. Well, you can't really pick us in this as much. This was the corner over here that's over the slot. And you see how smart he is. He's trying to show like he's going to play like a bracket concept, flip his hips, get his eyes to 1. I can get it to go. And then he's taking that. Safety's going to keep running to the inside hip of the outside guy, and the corner is going to play the outside hip of him. And then we still got the same pressure coming off of it. same concept, same team for the practice. But again, I guess, oh man, I went all the way back to the start. That's all right. Either way, the concepts we were worried about, you could see them on the practice film, and we've been matched up
Yeah.
pretty good. So I think that was the last one anyway. So
No, it's
sorry, I
perfect.
didn't have the diagrams and kind of went quick. And but if anybody's got any questions, they can reach out on Twitter or whatever, and be happy to answer anything.
Yeah, Coach. And I think, the gist of it is just different ways to bracket and cover 7. I really think you showed a lot of great examples there. And it's a versatile coverage. It's something I've run most of my career, coach of defense. I've obviously sprinkled in, much like you, the ripple is and the cover 1 stuff, but cover 7 is definitely something that we used a lot when we wanted to bracket guys, right? It's kind of a different world. So I think that you showed a lot of great examples there. I love that you showed basically turkey variations at the end. I'm obsessed with turkey. Matt knows when Oregon ran it in the one game, I started texting everyone. I was like, oh my God, Oregon ran turkey. And he's like, I don't know what that is. And I'm like, it's turkey coverage.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Those have
time
been,
there.
and we like, in 7-on-7, I try to tell the kids, like, we're going to call Clifford, a bunch in 7-on-7 or turkey. And then in the game, it's just hard to do that unless you know it's passed, because you just don't feel
Correct.
great about if they run the ball down there, you're going to look really stupid potentially. Now, we have some on here. I didn't put it on here. Some runs and us actually stopping it, believe it or not, with like torch and things. But you got to do something with the front to try to get it right.
Correct. I think turkey's like when they're going to do that, like the Mahomes roll out fast to the flat ball. That's when you run turkey because it just frees the quarterback doesn't know where to go.
Let me tell you my day today. So we're in a 7-on-7. We played terrible. We've at least competed, and today we just didn't. So we got the JV defense in there. We call Clifford or turkey, and if they didn't run sprint and run number 2 to the flat, and they completed it for a touchdown, our poor corner, he just missed it, and that was frustrating.
It's like the number one thing
it's hard to be like,
designed for.
you give something up, and it's like it was a coverage beater. You're like, hey man, that's on me. When you feel like you're in the perfect call, you're like, golly man, we give you a layup, you got to make the layup.
I know, Coach.
So,
And
but
that's
anyway, in
part
the
of
game, it's been
coaching.
more of like the pressures out of it, and we can bring the corner out of those. We can bring it B gap out of Clifford and all that, and make it into it's another dog word for us to try. So those have been really good in the game. Clifford, we haven't run it as much in a game, but the reason I guess I was saying that we install Clifford because you kind of got to install it to get to the pressures off of it, right?
Yep, correct.
And so those have all been really good in the game, more so than they have been even in 7-on-7, to be honest.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you coming on, but I'm going to ask you the question we always ask. I know it's a new place for you, but what's the most unique or different thing you guys do there that maybe not everyone else does now that you're in a kind of a new area?
Yeah, that's a good question. Are we talking specifically football?
Coach, whatever you want. You're the athletic director, whatever you want to talk about.
I am. We were meeting today about things we want to change. So I don't want to say change, just how can we, make
Update.
improvements, or what areas can we get better at, and what's already really good and things like that. That's a great question. I'll say this. One, our kids are great here, but because our kids are great, our parents are awesome here, probably as good as anywhere I've ever been. And I've had great parents at a lot of places, so I don't want to say that one's better than the other, but our parents here are great. And you can tell based on how their kids act at practice and how they generally compete and respectful and things like that. But our parents are a huge help. They're not overwhelming. They're just here to help, regardless of it ain't to get their kid playing time or to do this or that. They generally want what's best for the program. And they've been nothing but a blessing to be around and work with every day. So they've been awesome. But the school just in general is awesome. It's Williamson County School, which is one of the best, if not the best school district in the state of Tennessee. And it's just a special place to be all around. So I'm just glad they hired me for whatever reason they did. So glad to be here.
Well, Coach, we know they have a heck of a football coach. I'll vouch for you any day of the week. But real quick, Matt, you're an offensive guy. Can you break down cover 7 for us now real quick?
So, I mean, my limited stuff with defense was we were big on palms, and that from watching this and kind of thinking back to palms and seeing what you're doing. It seems like you're giving much more of a pre-snap structured approach for the players that they can follow and execute, and it gives you a little bit more control as a coach. I feel like we're running this cover 7 bracket coverages versus palms, and you can really zone in on the guys that you want to double team, and it doesn't matter, it matters a little bit what routes they run, but not as, there's not as much fluidity as palms gives you, so you can kind of narrow in on those players and really take out the guys that could give you problems.
Yeah, and even some of my buddies know, I'm not like the biggest fan of palms or whatever. Not because I don't think it's good coverage. I actually think it's really expensive. I think if you're going to run it,
wild
you better,
expensive.
you know what I mean? Like, you better practice
If you
it a
run
bunch.
it, you got to be
So
good at it.
100%.
everybody knows, like, why don't you run much palms? I'm like, because we don't practice it enough to be good at it.
Yeah.
We do other things that I think are somewhat expensive. And so something, you know, you can't do everything. But that's one of the reasons I do think this is in some ways a lot easier than that. And then you kind of got, I think, more flexibility, like you said, to get, you know, who you want doubled or the deeper routes doubled and things like that. And maybe I'm just a bad coach, but I'm just always scared we're going to bust it in palms and we play it some, but not a lot because I'm scared of it. Like, we play a version of it out of this, right? We hardly ever call it. It wasn't even on the film hardly. Like in a game week, we just kind of rep it and practice it. But anyway, I agree. The only thing I didn't really talk about was like stacks and bunches. The only thing I'll say about that, we do it I don't say a bunch of different ways, but quite a few different ways in terms of out of the bunch, like who are we going to man? And then the other two, we're going to play what some people would know as stack. But we're really going to play like in and out on those. The issue, right? I don't know if I can get this thing to even work. Okay. Like if that was a stack right there and we had two people, this would be us, right? We're going to play some form of triangle concept.
We're not shared anymore, like, Coach.
Do what?
We're not shared anymore.
I'm sorry. That's okay.
No.
Anyway, we're going to play in and out. And the problem with in and out of, like, if you play true in and out in one high, right, the second break is going to be the one that gets you.
Correct. You got to leverage the first break always. And that's
right.
really hard to explain to a 16-year-old.
Yeah. The high safety for us out of those knows if the first break goes in, he's going to play it like bracket, essentially.
Yep.
You're going to cut the face off of the second break that goes in. If the first break goes out, he's going to play it more like cut world of kind of get high and deep over top of everything. But he's still going to go play a little bit more aggressive than cut. So anyway, like you said, he's going to play the leverage of the first break because he's the kind of the guy that's going to make it right if we get two ins or two outs. That's the issue when you're playing. If they both run, they just switch, you're going to have it covered. That's not what you're going to get out of really good teams all the time. So, and anybody's got questions about that, it's all online somewhere, or I can be happy to answer that. But you're going to get that kind of stuff, and if you don't have some type of answers for it, that'll be an issue out of this kind of stuff too.
100%. Well, Coach, we really appreciate you hopping on. I know it was a little tough. We transitioned from inside to outside. We appreciate you sitting out there in the sun for us. I'm sure it's probably like 90 degrees. So thank you.
That's all right. You got to build up some mental toughness, you know?
Well, for me, for Coach Broadrick, for Matt, we appreciate you listening. We'll see you next time on another episode of the Board Drill Podcast.